Hey there, Skeletor here, and I'm coming back at you again with episode 2 of Moon Knight. This time we summon the suit. So, real quick, spoiler-free review. As lackluster as I find this episode, it moves the plot along far enough that I'm interested to see where the next episode goes. I'm still not 100% sold on this whole Moon Knight thing or the Disney Plus show thing, but it's got me this far. This episode gave me some serious Lou Ferrigno Hulk vibes. If you've ever seen any of that, it's a lot like that. This episode is great because you get to see the actors just fighting invisible nonsense. And we actually learn a bit more about the whole Khonshu Moon God Avatar situation. As far as a spoiler-free review, I'll say it's good enough to give it another episode. It's worth wasting the 20-something minutes. And no, there are no after-credits scenes. At least not yet. Spoiler-free review done. Haha, hoo hee hee. Oh my. So last episode, we got to see Moon Knight fighting a hairless cat thing, which may or may not be the same monster that we see in this week's episode. It's honestly kind of hard to tell. You know what? It's not so much a monster as it is a reused background character from one of the Scorpion King movies. That's what we're fighting here. And clearly they didn't want to pay a lot of rights because most of this fight, this thing is invisible. And I understand it's invisible from the perspective of civilians, because we do see civilians get knocked around, but they don't know what's going on. They just see Moon Knight fighting nothing. It's a mess. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm sure Steven is going to show up again, but it kind of feels like this episode is the last time we're going to be seeing Steven for a while. Which is great, because like I said last time, disgustingly British.
This is terribly awkward, but I can't...
Again, we get to see that on display really nicely when we start the episode. It doesn't pick up where the last one left off. We just wake up in bed, and he goes to work. So he's talking to security. And he's like, just fast forward. Yeah, that's me. Yes, that's me crying in the corner. We see him come out of the bathroom. He's like, no, that's not me. That's clearly Mark Spector, not Stephen Grant. But we don't see the Moon Knight costume. For most of this episode, I was wondering, like, is the Moon Knight costume part of his imagination? Which would be pretty cool and would explain how the costume just sort of materializes around him. I haven't fully bought into this whole gods thing yet, I suppose, so I don't know. Alright, look. Marvel's trying to cater to an international audience, and by international, I mean what China wants, China gets. And China does not do spiritual stuff very well. Anything involving spirituality or death in a spiritual sense is heavily censored. That's why Taskmaster's helmet looked like a ski helmet or a ski mask instead of the typical skull. China doesn't want depictions of these things, and given that we're going into the whole avatar of the gods of different cultures kind of thing, I'm really wondering if this is going to be censored in some way. I suppose in the sense that, like, the Asgardians aren't actually gods, they're just aliens. So maybe Khonshu and the other Egyptian gods aren't actually gods, they're just aliens or extra-dimensional beings of some kind. In that case, Moon Knight wouldn't be some kind of holy warrior. His outfit wouldn't be a gift from God kind of thing. It's figment of his imagination or alien technology that he doesn't understand, and thus it seems like magic, which isn't unheard of. That was the whole thing with the 10 rings initially. It seemed like magic, they functioned like magic, but they were just really super advanced alien technology. And then the Shang-Chi movie came out, and I don't know what the hell's going on there. You know what? As far as the 10 rings go in the MCU, maybe those are rings, but they're like it would be a ring for Fin Fang Foom's finger, but to a normal human, this is like a full arm bracelet. I don't know. I'm getting off topic. We don't see Moon Knight's outfit in that security footage, so I kind of just figured it's not real, it's in his head. And then most of the episode, nobody can see the monster except for Moon Knight himself. And by proxy, we, the audience, only see it when it's Moon Knight versus this thing, instead of Moon Knight and someone else versus this thing. You know what I mean? Like, if Moon Knight's the only person fighting this monster, we, as the audience, can see this monster. It's an interesting camera technique, I suppose. It just seems cheap and lazy. A lot of this is just the actors flailing around. This is where the old Lou Ferrigno Hulk comes in. You know what? Honestly, I say that because people are aware of it. But Hulk was like the higher end of the crappy TV movie stuff. Spider-Man Deadly Dust. That was ass. Daredevil, Thor, they were so bad they didn't even get their own series. They just kind of got rolled into the Hulk. That was a mess. Again, I'm getting off topic here. To get back on topic, he checks out security footage. They don't see the fight. They don't see the creature because it's invisible. They don't see Arthur, the bad guy, the cult leader dude. We'll be talking about him in a minute. He goes to HR. They think he's crazy. They give him a pamphlet for a mental institution or a doctor or something. Again, the whole scene was just so disgustingly British.
I can't.
And then he's fired. So like I said, the plot for this episode moves fast. He leaves work, bumps into Mark Spector's wife, apparently. We find out that's his wife, Lila. Apparently they were on a mercenary team together or something in Egypt, and she's aware of the fact that he's Moon Knight. Multiple times they say, summon the suit. There's they go back to his apartment, the police show up, he gets arrested, except they're not really with the cops. I mean, I guess technically they are cops, but they're cops that are working for Arthur, and there's a bit of a discussion between Arthur and Steven. We find out Arthur used to be the avatar of Khonshu. We kind of find out the extent of Khonshu's powers at the moment seem to be creating wind and knocking things off of shelves, like an angry ghost. Arthur is currently running a commune? I don't know. If you watch the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier thing, it's kind of like the Flag Smashers. The bad guys aren't really bad guys because they're running free food and housing for all these poor, underprivileged, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. We're just trying to make sure you understand it's not just black and white. The bad guy may not be a bad guy, but he's still a bad guy. But he's doing good things. But also the people he's helping are ostensibly bad guys because... fuck. Yeah, it's the Flag Smashers Manson family situation again. Anyway, they want the golden scarab. He doesn't have the scarab. Lila does. And of course, she just happens to show up right at the perfect time to run away. They're in a barn or something. This is where the monster comes in, and Mark is, or Steven is like, oh my god, it's a jackal! It's a jackal! Oh god, it's a jackal! It's a jackal!
A jackal! Jackal! It's a jackal! It looks like a jackal! 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 It's a jackal! Jackal!
Time!
It wasn't right the first time you said it. Why the hell would it be right the next 10 times?
She doesn't see it, he does. It attacks him. He falls out the window. We get the Mr. Knight costume. That's kind of cool, I guess. Not knowing anything from the comics, really, I'm gonna guess that Mr. Knight is Steven's version of Moon Knight, and the Mummy Batman is Mark's version of Moon Knight. This is then followed by the rest of the episode being Moon Knight flailing around with an invisible enemy until Mark takes over. And in this scene, people are saying that, oh, it's such a cool effect. They put Mr. Knight running alongside Moon Knight in the reflection. I don't know. Maybe it's the computer I'm watching it on. Maybe it needs to be higher resolution. I don't know. It doesn't look like Mr. Knight. It's just a generic reflection. Maybe they forgot to add the cape in because this entire thing is like 100% CGI. Moon Knight kills the jackal thing from Scorpion King, and then he banishes Steven to the back of his mind and says, I gotta finish this thing, and then you can have your life back. And then we cut to Moon Knight getting drunk in a hotel room in Egypt. I get it, you're waiting for the sun to go down so you can do moon stuff, but like, I don't know, I feel like maybe you should spend a daytime collecting intel or something and not just downing an entire fucking bottle. But what do I know? The fact that the plot moved forwards as quickly as it did for this episode, I'm 100% locked into watching the third episode because I really want to know where this goes, but I am not at all impressed by any of this. And it's not even like the bad kind of like show you can have fun laughing at. This is just like middle of the road, just kind of, it's not trying to be offensive. It's not trying to do anything, you know, I would say it's not trying to do anything new. It's given us 2 camera angles, I suppose. We got our first freeze frame. From what I can remember, this is the first freeze frame in the entire MCU. It's not really played for laughs. I actually thought my computer was lagging or froze for a second, but no, that's actually part of the show. It's a freeze frame. And the other one is, they did this last episode too. The character will be walking towards the camera, and the camera kind of goes overhead, and then we watch them walk away from the camera, but upside down. Given that that seems to be relatively new to the MCU, I guess that's a neat little trick. I don't know, it's not really anything of note, it's just new, I guess. These are things I bring up because the rest of the episode is just so goddamn boring, middle of the road nonsense. I'm just hoping the next episode is like all action. That's all I'm saying. The bad guys have what they're looking for. They're headed towards Amun's tomb or whatever. The tomb of their god. Their alligator god thing. And Moon Knight's gonna try to beat them to it. I'm looking forward to Ms. Marvel because I feel like it's gonna be so cringeworthy. I'm gonna have a good laugh. Hawkeye, I completely forgot Hawkeye existed until I started trying to remember what Disney Plus shows I've watched. Hello. I enjoyed the hell out of Wanda Vision, but I thought the ending was very lackluster. And then, you know, my suspicions were kind of confirmed when it came out that they removed Doctor Strange from the final fight because they didn't want Wanda to be saved by a straight white man. Did not enjoy Loki. Had high hopes for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that was cringe in an unfun kind of way. Stop calling them terrorists. Because to them, you're the terrorist. Moon Knight Episode 2, Summon the Suit. It's a thing. Check it out. On a scale from 1 to 5, I give this particular episode a 3. Last episode should have been a 2. Yeah, you know what? Last episode was a 2, but it had that really interesting gimmick of like, every time something cool is about to happen, the character falls asleep. And when we wake up, we've completely missed the action scene. It was interesting to try and figure out what the fuck was going on. That got old quick. I'm very glad they did not do that for this episode. This is a 3. 3.5 at best. Tune in next week for more Moon Knight. I've been Skeletor. I guess I'll continue to be Skeletor. Izzy's also here, but he doesn't give a shit. He's having a good time. You know, this is my second take. The audio was completely trash on the first round, and this time around, Izzy just keeps screaming. He's in the other room. He's not even like, he's not even hurt. He's just screaming for attention. I swear to God, man. I swear to God.